I'm going to ask you something. What if Dr. Casper or Dr. Hodges put an RFID chip in your face or a nano lens in your eye and watched you undress in the bathroom, or watch you take a dump and smell your finger after you got poo-poo on your hand? Imagine all your life you're going to be harassed and stalked by police. And then when you tell them about it, and you tell them about satellites, and you tell them about the microchip in your eye, they don't know what you're talking about at first. And then after you acknowledge it, and they're standing there like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about, then they acknowledge it. Do you think that's fair? To be stalked and harassed by voices to skulls, by a satellite stalking you, and it's apparent that a moon and a sun's following me. You know, the state government's got so much money to buy a NASA Blue Beam satellite or a Boeing Blue Beam satellite to stalk me with a $200 million system when I'm a disabled homeless man and mind my business. Sending harassing error messages to my microchip, get me to respond and record my voice, create a falsified recording incident with surveillance to convict somebody for a prosecution. It's just not going to work in my case. Somebody sends an error message to me by satellite. You know what? If I respond to it or not, it's inadmissible, mister. I'm talking to myself. Nobody's around. No, I tell you, since 2005, since this RFID chip was placed 5/10/2005, is before the controller section. Has nothing to do with the controller section. The state government and the California Department of Corrections had a premeditated conspiracy and espionage to set me up a long time ago before they even had knowledge of the controller section. And during the controller section, when I went to SAC after the placement of the RFID chip, infringed my rights there. The only thing you've accomplished is a reversal in sanctions. You think it's proper for you to place a nano lens implant to watch me in the bathroom naked? And to set other people up based on the observations of my eye? Or to set me up without my knowledge of it? I suppressed the evidence 4 times in a row, and one time I suppressed the evidence and won the motion. I still went to prison. 3 Valdivia violations I dismissed in a row. 2 violation sanctions that I suffered, one based on an incident that never occurred, 10/6/10, and another incident that they planted evidence in my paperwork. The Department of Justice test confirmed the fingerprint was not on the baggage. I suffered a Prop 36 sanction from the controller section to all the other sanctions that can be reversed. You can reverse all my sanctions with clemency. I'm going to tell you something. Placing a camera in somebody's eye and a microchip tracker and an ID tracker for a satellite to ID you and track you, for you to have surveillance. And then when I address the issue to police, they don't know what I'm talking about when they've been looking in through my eye and been tracking me by surveillance. If you're going to lie about low-level stuff like that, no telling what you're lying about, mister. This government has been knowing about my situation in a covert way to set me up. And I don't think it's proper when I was established in a place and had money and had furniture and mind my business. I lost $20,000 behind a false arrest and false imprisonment because you knew I was a victim of an assault, and then you turn it around to get the guys that victimized me to say, to turn it around on me. And they assaulted me, knowing from the observations of my eye. 6/22/10. I lost $20,000 in back pay behind the incident. And assets. I lost my marriage behind this situation. 5108. I suppressed the evidence and won the motion and still went to prison. You guys used two different justifications of probable cause. Because of that incarceration, I lost my marriage behind it. I don't think it's proper to place a nano-limbs implant in my case, to stalk and harass me and send me error messages, and have neurological science centers arrest me with public entities and police, and parole agents stalking me outside of sanctions with an RFID checker. I don't think that's proper at all for this to happen to me. Because I have to be stalked and harassed for the rest of my life, I think the return of my property and the government to compensate me on this because of me being a victim. I'm not going to go to jail because I'm a victim of a circumstance. This is a crime against me. A serious crime, an act of terrorism. To place microchip agendas in my case, to send voices and skulls, use psychological warfare, use major satellites to manipulate suns and moons to stalk me, that's obvious. That's an act of terrorism. If it's not okay for me to break the law, then it's not okay for the police to break the law. And the police and parole are significantly breaking the law.